So you want to be like me? Well, I'm ordinary, and a lot of people in this world are ordinary or common or normal. So I'm going to talk through today, this morning, Monday, 9 December 2024. So I'm Tanis Coralee Leonhardi, she, her, hers of Seattle. Tanis Coralee Presley, she, her, hers of Graceland. And I'm going to talk through I'm framing it a little differently at title level. This is a page in the life of assignment, autobiography exercise for myself. And this is on my decision to not take high school physics, graduated in June 2010. It was an science elective at our school. We had, if I'm recalling correctly, 2 years of science were required to graduate, and like 2 years of mathematics, 3 years of social studies or history, and 4 years of English, or 3 years of English and 4 years of social studies. It was like that. So the sciences we were required to take covered a potpourri, like an appetizer course, where it was like we had chemistry and geology and physics and astronomy, but it was not a course on any of those. It was like, this is what this is. Let's give you a tasting. So that was year 1, and then year 2 was biology, and then those are the required. And then there was also, you could take chemistry and physics through the high school. I didn't actually take chemistry through the high school either. I took it at a local community college, and I actually at that local community college took chemistry for non-scientists because I was not actually committed to majoring in science in college. For my 4-year degree, I did Associates of Arts and Sciences for my associate degree, and so I actually took chemistry for non-scientists, which I will say the best taught science course at a university level, including community college, was hands down that chemistry for non-scientists. The teacher loved me. It was a woman. She was like, I want to adopt you. I was going to say, all right, if I ever achieve any notability in chemistry, I know where that comes from, and that was that chemistry course for non-scientists that I took. So this is my way of saying I really stand by my decision to not take high school physics. So I'm going to talk through the decision, and for context, you're like, okay, I got your name in names. So what did you do? Because if you're talking about it, it's probably relevant. It's not. Let me just point out that I'm like 90% of society, or whatever. So I talked through my decision to not take high school physics, graduated in June 2010. I later graduated with a Bachelor of Science degree in Geology and Geophysics with a minor in mathematics in August 2015, and became a Ph.D. candidate in Geophysics in spring 2017 term before quitting with no degree in October 2019. My story is a reminder that not all physicists take high school physics. For the writing exercise, I assigned myself a limit to one side of a blank 8.5 by 11-inch piece of paper. I wrote small, and I guess one last note before I have a note before jumping into what I wrote. My first full course in physics at the University of Washington, we had an iClicker question. It was day 1. How many of you did, or was it not how many of you, that's the output. The question is, what is the highest level of physics you've taken, or something like that. And it was like, the takeaway was, or you had to say on whether you had like, what type of, no, the teacher was even worse than that. They were like, what type of physics do you have in your background? And so there was like, no high school physics was an option, and then there was high school physics, and then there was like AP, and then there was the university stuff. I think there were like a third of us, and it was a physics class for scientists and engineers, those of us majoring in science and or engineering. And I think it was about a third of the class had not taken high school physics. So if you think that all physicists take high school physics, you get 1 in 3 people in science / engineering wrong at the 4-year university level. So bad side about stereotypes. It doesn't apply to everybody, does it? That's why it's a stereotype. All right. This shall be the first time I release acoustic energy into the universe with this content in a packet. So my one-page handwritten autobiographical passage I wrote yesterday, Sunday, 8 December 2024. On my decision to not take high school physics, graduated in June 2010, written 8 December 2024 by Tanis Coralee Leonhardi. Writing started 7:21 p.m. Seattle time zone on Sunday, 8 December 2024. Writing ended 7:50 p.m. total time 29 minutes. The reason I did this may tarnish my reputation. The following is my for real reason, which I have not shared publicly / out loud until now. Was my aha moment when I made a guess inside my mind. When I made the guess that Elvis Presley did not take physics in high school, and that if I took physics, I would always be compared as lesser to him because I took physics in high school. I had been getting a lot of flack from my peers because I was still singing Hound Dog, yes, over a decade after the ballet incident when I was about 3 years of age in 1995, and persons felt it was not valid as a favorite song. There was a MLK Day assembly where attendance was optional. I decided not to go. He had been known to not like rock and roll. Mr. Elvis Presley was looking over me when I decided to go to the library instead of the assembly. I sat in the library next to one of my friends, both of us focused. There were no holidays on the federal calendar after the originals peoples of the United States of America, Native Americans, and renouncing MLK, an oppressor of those of us, any part Native American, felt freeing. I was undecided on if I wanted to major in a science in college. So instead of praying to God, I silently prayed to Elvis Presley for guidance and help if I decided to not take high school physics. If I was meant to be in physics, I trusted Elvis would help guide me and promised I would vocalize it publicly that he helped if I ever made it to/in physics. So I committed to Elvis and not taking high school physics. After I said my silent prayer, I tasked myself to finding the positive takeaway of the situation. I ruminated one option. Maybe it was crazy enough for me to make it to/in physics. It was the craziest thing I could come up with for being my reason for pursuing physics. The positive takeaway I came up with was that it would be one hell of a story either way, wouldn't it? From then on, I would owe anything I ever attained in physics to Elvis Presley, and it would have to wait until college for me to start. I sold my soul to the devil, Mr. Elvis Presley, and as such, I was his demon named Balthazar. In college, I did pursue physics, though my first brush with it, I withdrew from the course. I later came round and stuck with it as I could. I am still lacking a Ph.D. in physics, though. With the publishing of this video publicly on YouTube, I made good on my promise to share publicly that I owe making it to/in physics to him, Elvis Presley. In conclusion, there were a lot of us in high school who were like, people were like, you're good at science. And I was not that. I was like partially that person, but I was actually not. My heart was not in science, it was in mathematics, and everybody was like, Tanis is best in the class and don't fuck with her in mathematics. And so science was not actually it was like mathematics and social studies were my thing, and science was like something that people were like, you're good at it, you should take more science. And I was like, I didn't want to take more science, or I don't know. And so I was pigeonholed as one of those people that, you know, like the performance people, like cheerleaders and drill team and like those teams, they wanted to take those classes that some people considered difficult to make it look like they were really smart. And I was like, I don't want to be associated with those people. So who would I be associated with if I didn't take high school physics? And I was like, Elvis Presley. For real. And I was like, you know, so for my kind of grouping of people who were like, you should take physics and high school physics. Not physics in high school, but high school physics. All right, on campus, on the high school, through the high school teacher. We had to, for those of us who decided not to do it, we had to come up with these elaborate reasons, and I decided to not ever give my reason. So this is legitimately the first time I've ever said it out loud, the reason why I didn't. But it was because I was like, I would rather be associated with Elvis Presley than the people I know who are taking high school physics. Yes, and speaking from experience, the people who take high school physics aren't necessarily the best at physics. Just because somebody can do something at a lower level doesn't mean they can do it at the highest level. So it'd be very cool if I won a big deal prize in physics, because it shows that I was capable of understanding the importance of reputation and association, and how being associated with certain people can actually damage one's reputation, which I consider a tarnished reputation, and being associated with Elvis Presley slightly better than having a full-on damaged reputation for the people who took high school physics, so they could both look smart and invoke thermal expansion as analogous to a man's erection. I was like, I'm asexual. That's not me. So I chose a different journey. So there we go. That's on my decision to not take high school physics. Graduated in June 2010.